Hey guys, I just wanted to make a brief video, and I'm going to turn the comments off because I don't really have any interest in hearing any other opinions. If you want to post a video responding to this, then be my guest. That's your right to free speech. So, I haven't talked about why I left Orthodoxy other than saying that my values are incompatible with Orthodoxy. And essentially, the fundamental problem that I have with most all conservative religion is that the philosophies are based around obedience to what people believe are divine commands over what is actually conducive to the well-being of conscious creatures. Um, my values are ultra progressive, and the reason my values are ultra progressive is because when I look at the world and I look at data and I look at evidence, I believe that progressive values best create and contribute to the well-being of human beings, but also other conscious creatures. And I can't accept a moral system whose primary goal is not the well-being of conscious creatures, that puts divine commands over what actually is conducive to our well-being and our happiness. And I don't think something can be wrong unless it actually harms someone. And, people, when I brought this up, because I've talked about this in a lot of private discussions, people have said, well, what defines well-being? What defines harm? Well, philosophers and philosophy go back to the beginning of human beings being able to write and preserve their writings. So as long as we've had preserved written language. And generally speaking, harm is defined as inflicting pain or suffering or otherwise violating somebody's autonomy. And well-being is the avoidance of pain and suffering and the experience of pleasure and joy. And this idea that we have to obey these supposed divine commands, even though they are clearly harmful to the well-being of many people, LGBT people, but there's many others. That's only one group. The divine commands that social conservatism is based on is clearly harmful to the well-being of many, many different types of people, and it inflicts pain and suffering on them, on us, I should say. And so I rejected Calvinism because the God of Calvinism is clearly an asshole. And what I realized is Orthodoxy and Catholicism seems that God in those faiths is perhaps less of an asshole, but still an asshole. And I'm just at the point now where I'm not willing to worship a God that is an asshole, whose goal is not to secure the well-being of every single human being by the means that can rationally secure well-being, that we can prove actually secure well-being, that he would rather have people follow rules that he made up rather than live in ways that are conducive to their happiness without infringing upon the happiness and the rights of other people. And so for me, good and evil have absolutely nothing to do with obedience or anything to do with divine commands. They are 100% about well-being and happiness versus pain and suffering. And so, and I've always been somewhat agnostic in the sense that, God is unproven, that we don't really know with absolute certainty whether or not God exists. And you can kind of go into a solipsist area there where you're basically saying, how do we know that anything outside of our own brain exists? Like, how do you know you're not just a brain in a vat or something like that? And technically we don't. But, I'm not trying to go in that route. But at the same time, I want to deal with the reality that is in front of me, what I can actually prove objectively exists or what appears to objectively exist. And whether God actually exists or not, or whether there's a supernatural or divine reality or not, I'm not going to find out until after I die. So I'm going to live for the here and the now and try to do my best to help people, and to promote philosophies and ideas that are conducive to the well-being of conscious creatures. And that's pretty much all there is to it. It's, I just basically had to ignore who I was and ignore my values for the better part of a decade in order to be Orthodox. And I just, if I came up to the chalice to commune, I would be lying. Essentially, I've been lying for the entire time I was Orthodox, because yes, I accepted Orthodox dogmas and ideas, but almost under duress, because I didn't really buy into the reasoning underneath a lot of the beliefs and the ideas. But I just thought, this is the truth, this is the true church, so on and so forth. And I just realized now I can't agree with a lot of the beliefs. I do not feel there is sufficient evidence to warrant many types of religious belief. And I think that the moral philosophies are deeply problematic for a number of reasons, which I've already expounded upon here. And so, there's a lot I greatly appreciate about Orthodox theology and liturgy and so on and so forth, but the heart of it, the core of it, I just don't agree with. And people say I shouldn't have left, but it's just like, I just don't believe and agree with everything that is needed to be an Orthodox Christian anymore. And I can't really say that I ever did. And so I can't go to the chalice and lie. You can't go to confession and lie, and go to the chalice and lie. Like, that is totally antithetical to how you're supposed to live, the orthopraxis that's supposed to go with your orthodoxy. I cannot align my values and my core beliefs with what is necessary to be involved in the sacramental life of the Orthodox Church. So I would just be lying by continuing to take communion and do everything else. And I don't feel that it is a good idea, or that it is conducive to be dishonest in such a way. So I've started going to an Anglo-Catholic Episcopal church, and that's what I plan on continuing to do for the time being as I continue to work things out. So, again, if my content has been very helpful to you, then again, I'm glad. Thank God for that, and thank you for your time, and thank you for your attention, and good luck to you. Take care.